Hi, I'm Brenda with Hayneedle, and today we're going to be doing a short assembly video on the Providence rocker chair. The approximate time for this assembly is about 45 minutes. Tools needed is a Phillips head screwdriver, which is not provided, and an Allen wrench, which is provided. You first want to start by removing all of your contents from your box. Then you want to take a brief inventory to make sure you have all parts and hardware necessary for this assembly. You want to start with using your front rail labeled as E, your two side frames which are labeled as B and C, and we're going to use 2 of our spring washers labeled as 4, 2 of our bolts labeled as 1, our Allen wrench, and 2 of our wood plugs labeled as 7. Now we're going to take our front rail and we're going to place this in the bottom hole of our sides, and then you're going to place your spring washer on the bolt, and then we're going to insert that in on the opposite side. Now you want to take your Allen wrench and tighten into place. Now we will repeat these steps on the opposite side. Now you want to take your wood plugs and insert on the exposed hole on each side. First we're going to need our 2 side rails, our bottom rail which is labeled as D, our 4 of our spring washers labeled as 4, 4 of our bolts labeled as 1, 4 of our wood plugs labeled as 7, and our Allen wrench. Now we're going to take our piece labeled as D, and you want to go ahead and place all your spring washers on your bolts. Now we're going to be inserting our bolts into the 2 holes that are open. Once you've tightened those down on both sides, you want to take your wood plugs and insert those into the open holes. First you want to start with your chair back labeled as A. Then you're going to need your side rails. And then you need 4 of your spring washers labeled as 4, 4 of your bolts labeled as 1, 4 of your wood plugs labeled as 7, and your Allen wrench. Now you want to take your chair back and you want to insert the little notches into the bottom hole on each side of the bottom. Now that you've got that placed in, you want to take your spring washer and place it over your bolt, and then place your bolt inside the top holes. Then take your Allen wrench and tighten it into place. Now you want to take your bolt and insert on the bottom hole. Using your Allen wrench, you want to tighten into place. Once into place, you want to repeat these steps for the opposite side. Now you want to take your 4 wood plugs and insert into all 4 holes. For the next part, you're going to need 4 of your L brackets labeled as 8 and 4 of your screws labeled as 5. Now you want to place your brackets in between the 3 pre-drilled holes. And you want to make sure that they're flush. Then you want to take your screw. Using a Phillips head screwdriver, you want to tighten those down. You want to do the same for your opposite side. Now we're going to flip the chair on the opposite side, on its back. Now we will be placing the brackets on the opposite side of the chair, making it flush with this part, and then repeating the steps from the opposite side. For this next part, you're going to need your seat, which is labeled as G, and your 4 screws labeled as 5, and your Phillips head screwdriver. Now we're going to be placing the seat, the smaller end going to the back of the chair, Placing it in like that. Now from the bottom of the chair, we're going to be inserting our screws through the latches, and using a Phillips head screwdriver, we're going to tighten those into place. Now you want to repeat these steps on the top latches. For our final step, we're going to need 2 of our rocker runners labeled as F, 4 of our flat washers labeled as 3, 4 of our spring washers labeled as 4, 4 of our bolts labeled as 2, and our Allen wrench. First, you want to start by placing your spring washers on, and then your flat washers on. Now we want the skinnier part facing the back of the chair, and the thicker part facing the front of the chair. We're now going to insert our bolts and then place over the hole. Then using our Allen wrench, we will tighten those into place. And you now have your finished Province Mission rocker chair.